Good morning, my beloved. It is Monday again. Happy Monday to you. I want to question and answer it in just a minute. I want to give you a question. What's behind all this anger? It might surprise you what's behind all the anger. What's behind all this anger is fear. Write this down, put it in your heart, put it on your refrigerator. Behind every expression of fear is something you care about deeply, something you care about enough that you fear you might lose it. For men, most anger is a fear of being disrespected. For women, most anger is the fear of not being loved. Now, I'm going to date this video, but so be it. Today is Valentine's Day. Did you know the number one day of filing for divorce is tomorrow, the day after Valentine's Day? You know why? We didn't get our needs met. There was this expectation that we had, and when our partner didn't come through, then we're angry enough that, okay, that's it. I've waited long enough. I'm out of here. The anger is a fear of not being loved or not being respected. So I'm going to start something new with my videos, and I just need you to be aware. I'm going to start giving the takeaway, the main content right up front, because I have found that most of you don't watch longer than 2 minutes or 5 at the most. Some of you are very, very faithful, and I'm appreciative. So what I'm going to try to do, or attempt to do from now on, is give you the main thing right up front, and then for those who want to go deeper, they can just stick with me and watch the rest, the other 10 minutes or whatever it is. So the question again is, what's with all this anger in our world? What's with all this anger in our relationships? What's this problem with all this anger with our children? Behind all expressions of anger is something they care about, something you care about. I love the story of Jonah for lots of reasons, and I would encourage you to go read Jonah again in the Bible. Jonah was a man who God told, you go tell the people of Nineveh to repent. And Jonah, quite honestly, did not like the Ninevites. So I just look at that and I go, how many people in your life are you angry at? That if God told you to go share with them anything, whether it be repent, whether it be He loves them, you would not want to go because you already have an attitude about them. Maybe it's Republicans, maybe it's Democrats, maybe it's black, maybe it's white, maybe it's rich, maybe it's poor, maybe it's your in-laws. It doesn't matter. Jonah is a great example of an individual who God sent to a people he didn't really care about. And so Jonah was already upset to go, but he loved God. And so in essence, you know the story, he tried to run from God, ended up being swallowed by a whale or a big fish, got spit up on the land, ended up doing what God told him to do. So he goes to Nineveh. He tells them, repent, or in 3 days God's going to destroy this place. And the children of Nineveh repent. And so on the third day, Jonah is waiting for them to be obliterated. I think he would clap for joy kind of in his heart because he didn't care about him anyway. And the sun was hot. God made a plant grow. You know the story. It was shielding him. His head was bald. I kind of get that. But he also, God created a worm that ate the roots of that plant and it died. And Jonah was really angry about this plant dying and him being in the sun. And God asked him, should you be angry? You care about this plant, but you don't care about these people? And when God asks him this question, remember, if God asks you a question, it isn't because he doesn't know the answer. God says to Jonah, do you do well to be angry? Are you, in essence, are you doing the right thing to be angry? And Jonah says, I'm doing the right thing to be angry even unto death. Now that's dumb to the 10th power. But the thing is, Jonah was angry. But he wasn't necessarily angry about God not destroying the children of Nineveh. He was angry about his reputation being tarnished. And that's what he says. He said, "Didn't I know that I was going to go tell these people this, and you were going to forgive them, and then I would look stupid because I told them you were going to destroy them?" He was worried. He was angry because he was afraid he was going to lose his reputation amongst the people. And I know lots of Christians today who won't do what God's asking them to do because they're afraid of losing their reputation with their friends. They're afraid of being persecuted and rejected, made fun of. And so they would rather not obey God than obey God and take a chance that their reputation would be tarnished. Jonah was angry that the people of Nineveh didn't get destroyed, but he was more angry that in his mind it made him look bad. You know, a lot of times we won't pray for people because we're afraid if God doesn't answer our prayer, we will look stupid. Our reputation will look bad. And the truth is, again, behind every expression of anger is a fear. So when your spouse gets mad, when your children get mad, when your boss gets mad, or anybody you're connected to, one of the first things you should ask yourself is, what's behind that? What are they afraid of? Maybe your spouse is afraid of not being loved. Maybe your spouse is afraid of you don't respect them. Maybe your boss is afraid you're going to leave. Maybe your boss is afraid you're going to take his job. Who knows? But you ought to ask it. What's behind all this fear in our world is something people care about a lot, and maybe themselves. But that expression of anger is what is being driven by a fear of losing something. Can I say to you, you know, we talk about women being so emotional, but men are actually just as emotional, if not more emotional than women. And the problem with it is that men's number one response in emotion is almost always anger. If they're afraid, they're angry. If they feel disrespected, they're angry. If they didn't make it, if it didn't go well, they're angry. So men are just as emotional than women. They just don't have as many gamuts of emotions. Their number one go-to will be anger. You just have to remember that behind that anger is a fear of losing something. Behind every anger is something people care about. And if you can determine what that is and really get them to be honest about what that is, now you can have great communication. And so my desire today would be that this is a day where we express love one to another. Every day should be that way. But it's a day that's been put in our calendar to express that we care about one another. But can I ask you to just have an expectancy and not an expectation? Turn that he's going to get me flowers to whatever he does for me, I'm going to be grateful for. Because if you say he's going to get me flowers and he gets you a card instead, you will feel sad. You will feel disappointed. You will feel angry because you had an expectation and not an expectancy. Love should not be reduced down to rules and regulations and things that we should do if we love one another, because then there's room for rejection and disappointment. It's fear. So, today, if someone is angry, if you see someone who, shows emotions of anger, just know behind that anger is a fear of losing something that they care about deeply. When you get angry today, I can help more people who are angry and they don't even know why. I'm telling you right now, here's why. You're afraid. You're afraid of losing something you value greatly. Maybe it's respect. For men, it's mostly respect. They fear not being respected by their mates, by their coworkers, by their spouse, by their children. But you can't demand respect. You earn it. And so maybe there's something you can change that will cause them to give you what you're looking for, respect and honor. Maybe if you can express to your husband what love looks like for you, because love for you may be different than for him. And I know you've told him, but probably tell him again. Men don't get it. We need to be told a couple times, 70 times, or 70 times 7 times. Behind every anger is a fear of losing something. Find out what that is. Find out what they care about deeply. And then you can meet that need and the anger will subside. I'm also going to start something new with my videos. And that's just like when I'm preaching in a church. When I'm done, I'm done. I'm not going to go any longer. I feel like I've said what I need to say. I'm done. If this video you think would help somebody you're connected to, would you click share and share it now? Together, you and I will continue to change thousands of lives. Next week, we'll probably talk about anger again and some more aspects of anger because it's such a big and deep issue. Love you all so much. Have a great week.